You're tuned in to the High Adventure Inline Series, where we bring you up to date on the latest in inline competitions from around the world. Today's action features men's and women's elite racers from the Metro Sports Rock and Roll in Boston, plus tech tips and racer profiles. Today's inline action is brought to you by K2, maker of a full range of inline skates, including the 2 Extreme and Extreme Speed inline speed skates. And by Hyper Wheels, the leader in inline speed skating wheels, who this year bring you the new Circle R wheel, used by top teams K2 Motion Sports and Special Equipment Company. And by Twin Cam, the exclusive provider of inline skate bearings for all K2 skates and the K2 racing teams. And by the Inline Club of Boston. Join the ICB, founded by inline skaters for inline skaters. Hello and welcome to High Adventures Inline Series. We're coming to you on Soldiers Field Road. I'm Mike McCready along with Lisa Feinberg, and today is the Rock and Roll Fest 95 from Metro Sports. Lisa, what can we be looking for today?
Well, this race is not the first time that it's ever happened. It happened in '91 and in '93. Now in 1995 is the Metro Sports Rock and Roll. It's going to be one of the fastest races of the series.
We'll be looking at high speeds because of the flat course?
The course is very flat, and that makes it not as technical because there's no big hills or major turns. That also opens it up so that you never know who might place in the top 3.
Okay, lots of exciting action to come, so stay with us on the High Adventure Inline Series.
Has their own idea of a hero.
Magic Johnson. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Mr. Neil.
My hero, Gloria Estefan.
Martin Luther King. Mr. Hope.
These are teachers, but to the kids they've reached, they're heroes. They've given them hope. They've given them choices. They've changed their lives.
Well, the children are the heroes.
The most fulfilling thing is watching a child succeed.
I just like to help them make their dreams come true.
Teachers have the power to wake up young minds, to be heroes, to make a difference. Reach for that power. Teach. If you want to make an impact on our future, call 1-800-45-TEACH.
Mr. Wilkins.
Mrs. Eisenhardt.
Mr. Adler.
Be a teacher. Be a hero.
Welcome back to the High Adventure Inline Series. We're coming to you from Boston, Massachusetts for the Metro Sport Rock and Roll 95. Right now, it's time to go for a course preview with Lisa. Lisa?
Well, I don't think we're going to see any world records today, but it is going to be a fast course, under 17 minutes. The reason we're not going to get down to 16 is because the pavement is a little bit rough, but without any major turns, it's going to be a fast race. Let's go to Tom Keene. He's the race director of this event, and he's going to give us a first-hand look.
Okay, we're at the start of the 10K. Pavement was just redone here, so it's going to be pretty fast, but the pavement's not super smooth, but there's no holes in it, so it's a fast pace, not world-class perhaps because the pavement's a little bit rough, but it's new pavement, very few holes. Holes on the bridges. We only have one lane closed on the bridge. It's very hard to pass. So they'll have to get in place they want to be before they ever get to the bridge. That's going to be one of the most interesting things to watch during the race, the strategy of where you get into, what place you get in the line before the bridge. There's also these tar spots on the bridge today that racers will have to watch out for. We'll have our winds at our backs on Soldiers Field Road, and it'll be a faster stretch than the stretch on the opposite side of the river. During the race, we'll cross the finish line 3 times. The 3rd time across will be the finish. This is a spot here in the course where most skaters won't do anything drastic. They'll just stay in line, rest a bit, get a feel for what it's like. When we come through here when we're racing, crowds will all be set up here. The timers will be set up just on this side of this intersection where we cross the yellow line, and that'll be our finish. We'll come in through a chute will be set up here on the right. You might see some excitement during the race as people come through the finish area, because the racers always get a lot of adrenaline coming past all the spectators. The wind's going to be a factor today because the course is right along the Charles River here, and we get wind blowing in both off the ocean and from inland. It seems to switch. If you're skating on this side, it seems to be in your face, which is from inland. Go to the other side, the wind still seems to be in your face, off the ocean. Heading up now onto the Arsenal Street Bridge. This will be a really crucial point in the race because the bridge is a little bit hairy. We only have one lane closed, and there are two big manholes in the middle of the bridge that will have orange barrels covering them. There's also some small potholes on the sides that are a little bit hairy. So watch for excitement on this bridge during the race. And we're just crossing the Charles River. We're gonna head down, do a very quick right-hand turn, just went around that pothole. A lot of crossovers, it's gonna be really fun. It's a slight downhill there, coming off the bridge all the way to here, so we can really crank through that section. And this next section has some wide sweeping turns, and it's slightly uphill. So you'll see the pace kind of sag a little bit through here, and the racers will group and regroup in different orders, trying to gain an advantage in positioning. Now we're going slightly uphill here towards the start line, and then we'll have some 300 or 400 yards from there to the Elliott Bridge. Remember, we'll do this 2 full laps and 1 short lap. So I'd be coming up on the end of my first lap if this was the race.
That's our course preview from Tom Keene of the Inline Club of Boston. Stay with us on the High Adventure Inline Series, because coming up next, we'll have highlights of the women's elite race.
Janine woke up in a cold sweat with one thing echoing through her brain. Who was this guy in her bathroom?
Meanwhile, Barry was thinking, whose bathroom am I in?
Janine remembered going to the party the night before and getting smashed out of her mind.
Barry remembered getting drunk and acting really stupid.
Eventually.
The whole evening came back.
Oh, I must be really stupid.
I must be really dumb.
What did I do? How did I get myself into this?
Well, what did I do? How did I get myself into this?
What about...
What about
AIDS? Then they both realized, much to their relief, that unlike the rest of us...
They were just cartoons.
Get high.
Get stupid.
Get AIDS.
Why don't you come up here, Pumpkin?
What are you doing, Larry?
Well, Vince, I've asked my pumpkin to sit on my lap to prove a point.
And what is that, your Larryness?
Even if we fasten our safety belts, even if you hold on tight, even if you were watching the road...
Huh?
In a crash, your pumpkin will be nothing but a squash.
You could learn a lot from a dummy. Use child safety seats.
We love that little pumpkin to pieces.
For over 30 years, Amnesty International has worked to free prisoners of conscience, to stop torture, to prevent executions, and to protect human rights. Raise your voice. 1-800-55-AMNESTY.
You're back with the High Adventure Inline Series from the Metro Sport Rock and Roll 95 on Soldiers Field Road in Boston, Massachusetts. Mike McCready along with Lisa Feinberg, and we're looking at the highlights of the women's race.
The women have just crossed the starting area for the first time. They have another lap and a half left to go. In the lead right now is Debbie LeClaire. She's from Team High Gear. She's 30 years old out of Colchester, Vermont, and she's been doing this for a while. I've come across her at races for several years now.
Debbie Leclerc in the front there, Lisa. Looks like they're working pretty well with each other, forming that draft line.
Yeah, it's a very tight draft pack right now. They're right next to each other. You'll notice that no one has pushed the pace yet, has broken away. They're just maintaining their energy, maintaining their pace, being very steady as they go down the main straightaway right now, which is on Soldiers Field Road.
Okay, Lisa, as the racers come into what will be the finish area, we're seeing Debbie Leclerc kind of give up the lead and give it over to Jennifer Kirsch, her teammate, who can start pulling some of the wind for this lead pack.
You notice that Kirsch, even though she's taken the lead, everyone else is pulled up right behind her, and Leclerc doesn't drop to the back of the pack. She moves into the middle because she doesn't want to be blocked coming over the bridge. They're about to enter the Arsenal Street Bridge, and it's very important at that point to be in good position.
Okay, we just saw Amy Rubin of Special Equipment Company kind of falling off the pace there. But in the lead pack, in first place, we have Gianna Rodriguez from New York City, followed by Jennifer Kirsch and Debbie Leclerc. As they come up over the Arsenal Street Bridge, they're coming to a downhill, Lisa.
Well, coming off the bridge, your position is very important because it is perfect pavement on the Greeno side, and you'll see the pace pick up here.
Yes, Lisa, as we look at these highlights of the women's elite race, the pack is coming down, and shortly they'll be coming up to the Elliott Street Bridge. And right at this moment, it's Jennifer Kirsch who's in the lead with the draft pack following in behind her, Lisa.
Well, Kirsch is in a tough position right now because she's been taking the lead a lot. She's got to fall off the pace and let some of her other teammates help her out, although this Team High Gear has certainly got this race under control. The three of them are in the lead right now.
Yeah, High Gear looking strong as we see the leaders right now are Jennifer Kirsch in first place, followed by Debbie Leclerc. After her is Barbara Coleman from New York, and Gianna Rodriguez from New York City is in fourth place as we come down toward what will be the finish area coming up to the Bell Lap at the Metro Sports Rock and Roll 95 on Soldiers Field Road.
Gianna Rodriguez is racing very well here today. She's staying right with these top, very experienced women. She's only 17 years old. She doesn't have as much experience as the other women in the lead pack, but she's hanging right in there, and now she has taken over the lead.
Yes, as these highlights continue, Gianna Rodriguez from New York City is pulling the pack as they come down into the finish area with one lap to go as we hear the bell sound for that Bell Lap.
Now, on this Bell Lap, strategy is key. You don't want to be leading right off the front. Rodriguez right now is in the lead, and she's going to have to pass it off if she wants to have energy for that sprint at the end.
I guess that's what we're wondering. Will Rodriguez stay in that lead position for most of the last lap? We see the three teammates together right in a row there with Jennifer Kirsch, Debbie Leclerc, and, Barbara Coleman following along in second place.
Rodriguez still has the lap as they come towards the Arsenal Street Bridge. This is a very critical point in the race. It's a little rough going over the bridge. There's some potholes, and then you've got that fresh pavement on the back stretch. So it's very important that she at least takes a rest as they come off the Arsenal Street Bridge if she wants to get that sprint to the finish.
Okay,
this could be quite a victory for her.
That's right, and coming into this corner, very difficult corner because it's narrow and probably the tightest corner on the course, and they come up the hill to that downhill section we saw earlier as we go into the last lap of the women's highlights in the Metro Sport 95.
Right now, they're on Greeno Boulevard, the back stretch, and we've been talking about this fresh pavement all day long. And Rodriguez is still in the lead. In fact, the other racers from Team High Gear, they are not letting her relinquish it. They are pulled in right behind her. They're letting her pull the rest of the pack along. She's got to be getting tired.
Yeah, Rodriguez looking strong, but pulling that whole pack, wondering if she can hold out for the whole race as we have behind her. In the white helmet is Barbara Coleman, followed by Jennifer Kirsch, and Debbie Leclerc was right behind her, Lisa.
Well, right now, they're coming into the Elliott Street Bridge. This is the last bridge to the finish. The bridge is very narrow, and it's important to be in good position. And Team High Gear is in perfect position. They're letting Rodriguez pull them along, but as soon as they come off the bridge, for the sprint, they'll all be trying to make a move.
Rodriguez must be getting tired at this point, Lisa. We have a pack of 6, all in a position. Any one of them could make a move at any point and take that to the finish line.
And in fact, Team High Gear has made a move. It looks like Debbie Leclerc out in front coming off the bridge.
Yeah, Debbie Leclerc has taken the lead, followed right behind her by Jennifer Kirsch and Barbara Coleman, all from the same team working together toward the finish line.
As they sprint to the finish, you're seeing a classic case of race strategy right here. Team High Gear waited till the last moment, came off the bridge, made their move, and now it looks like they might have a clean sweep.
And behind this leading High Gear team is Karen Redner from Team Special Equipment, followed by Susan Wright. And as they come into the finish line, it looks like Debbie Leclerc is the winner, followed by Jennifer Kirsch and Barbara Coleman, Lisa.
Leclerc takes the race based on her quick move right off the bridge. She took the lead right there and had a clean street to do her sprint on. Leclerc, 30 years old from Colchester, Vermont. It's a nice victory. She did it in 19 minutes, 59 seconds.
High Gear looking strong today and working very much as a team. As we take a look at the winners, going from right to left, we see first place with Debbie Leclerc, second is Jennifer Kirsch, and third is Barbara Coleman, all from Team High Gear. Stay with us on the High Adventure Inline Series. Coming up, we have the start of the men's elite race and some more tech tips Championships with our friend Tom Keene as the High Adventure Inline Series continues on Sports Channel.
The FDA recommends persons with compromised immune systems, liver or intestinal disease, cancer, or diabetes eat defensively and thoroughly cook all meat proteins, such as shellfish. Healthy individuals can also be at risk and should take steps to ensure the seafood they buy or catch is safe. To do that, the FDA recommends the following. Store live oysters, clams, and mussels in the refrigerator and cover with a damp cloth. Place oysters and clams in boiling water and cook from 4 to 6 minutes after the water begins to boil again, or steam from 6 to 8 minutes. When fully cooked, they should pop open. Discard unopened ones. If you eat raw shellfish, make sure the shellfish are purchased at a reputable outlet. Consumers can ask to see the shipper's tag, which indicates the shellfish were obtained from approved shippers. Sport fishermen should check with state fish and wildlife officials to find out if there are any warnings for their waters and comply with advisories that prohibit consumption of fish caught in those waters. After buying fresh fish, remove it from the package, rinse it, pat it dry, and refrigerate it in the coldest part of the refrigerator. Throw out fish with a strong ammonia smell. Cook all seafood until it is no longer translucent in color and flakes easily with a fork.
If you're worried about the future, plant a tree today.
They clean the air we breathe, create beauty.
They cool our cities,
shade us in the summer,
conserve energy,
help fight pollution,
and protect us from the cold winter winds.
Birds will come here when it gets bigger. Children will play under its branches.
That's the miracle of trees.
Hey, why don't you plant a tree too? Please. Trees for America.
With the High Adventure Inline Series coverage of the Metro Sport Rock and Roll 95. We're next to the Charles River in the shadow of Harvard University and MIT, and also the start of the men's elite race. What are we looking for today, Lisa?
Well, I think everyone's going to be chasing one guy, Jairo Ballesteros. He's currently leading the ICB Series. He's a former champion on quad skates from Colombia, and he's now made the switch to inlines. He's currently leading the ICB Series in points. But hot on his tail is going to be Sten Seaman, a cross-country ski racer from Burlington, Vermont. And if he's not right on his tail, someone else will be, a guy named Jack Irving. Jack's a former professional hockey player that instead of playing roller hockey is now racing.
Okay, well, those are the people to watch. And we had a chance to talk with some of these superstars before today's race to hear about the course and the race in their own words.
We know there's a couple strong guys in the field, so we kind of made a plan before the race to stick and catch any breaks that are going to get away. And if we do happen to get away, anybody that's in the field from my team would try to keep the pack tight and stop them from catching us.
We just skated around the course, and we're noticing that the course this year is very narrow, unlike the previous years. So what we're going to try to do is skate abreast, side by side, so nobody can get around us in any way, and try to control the race from the very start so that we can get a good positioning for the sprint, because I'm pretty sure it's going to be a sprint to the finish line.
It's beautiful. You got the water on your side the whole way around, and the bridges are exciting. The crowd, of course, keeps you going when you pass. The strategy is to go out as hard as I can for as long as I can, and hopefully be the first one over the finish.
So those are some of the thoughts from the race champions that we'll be looking for today in the Metro Sports Rock and Roll 95. As we get ready for the start of the event, we're hearing Tom Keene, race director, give some last-minute instructions. What's going on in the racers' minds, Lisa?
Well, two things, Mike. First of all, it's a rolling start, which means the racers are in motion when the gun goes off. Second, it's a big pack at the starting line, so you want to be in a good position.
Hey, looking at today's weather, it's a beautiful day, slightly hazy, about 87 degrees with moderate humidity, and the pollen count is moderate, so they shouldn't be struggling too much with that today, as we have in many races during the season. And we're looking at the lead vehicle come into position for the start of the Metro Sports Rock and Roll 95 Men's Elite Race. Listen for the horn, because that's the actual start of the race at the rolling start. Okay, that was the starting horn, and we're underway at the Rock and Roll Metro Sports 95 Men's Elite Race.
Well, at the start of any race, people are very tense because they're waiting to see what the pace is going to be like. And I guarantee in this race, the pace is going to be pushed because there is one name among many that is participating, Eddie Madsker. Madsker, until recently, held the world record at 15:44 in the 10K, and he was a last-minute entry into this race. It'll change everything in terms of strategy.
That's right. Metzger, known as the gentle giant, kind of a last-minute entry, as he often is at races. People don't know when he's going to show up. But right now, we're looking at the leader on the right side of our screen. That's Mark Mason from Green Planet. Not someone you often see out at the front. Do you think he'll hold there for long, Lisa?
Well, Mason has done quite a lot of racing, but it's his first season as a sponsored skater. And you can see the pack behind him, led by Madsker, making their move, catching up to him.
Okay, Mark Mason in the lead, coming over the bridge, the Elliott Street Bridge onto Soldiers Field Road. But we see Eddie Metzger making his move, followed behind him by Rolando Arrieta, and Tom Keene is right behind him, Lisa.
Well, right from the start, Metzger said he was going to go like the Dickens from start to finish. But the other racers are not letting him break away. They're staying right with him.
Metzger falling into his trademark race pattern, looking to break out to an early lead and see if he can leave the pack behind. But that's Rolando Arrieta right behind him and moving in front to lead the draft pack, Lisa.
Well, that was classic Metzger. He's really just testing the pack. He doesn't know everybody that's racing here today. He wants to see who's going to be pushing it.
Okay, with almost a half lap completed in this men's elite race, looking at the front, we see Patrick Quinn, followed by Jason Sepulveda, and Jairo Ballesteros right behind him are the lead three at this point.
Patrick Quinn is from New York City, but he left his job last September so he could pursue a career in ice speed skating. He's trying to make the Olympic team in '98.
Okay, Lisa, on that last corner, we see Eddie Metzger moving back into his familiar position in the lead.
Metzger likes to be in the lead, especially when he goes in a regional race like this where there's only a handful of people that compete at a national level. It's very important for him to stay in the lead because he is the only one here from his team, Twin Cam Kryptonics, whereas K2 Motion Sports and K2 Blades from New York City have a lot of guys to help him out. Metzger does skate on K2, but he's working on his own.
Okay, we're now coming through what will be the finish area 2 laps from now with the crowd in the background, and we see the pack coming together. No clear leader. Metzger's been leading a bit, but we have other people moving into position, and it keeps switching back and forth, Lisa. Kind of seems like everyone's sort of feeling each other out, seeing who's going to burst and take that lead as they come under our position here on Soldiers Field Road.
It's very common in any 10K race, especially when you have a lot of different racers who aren't necessarily skating in the 16-minute zone. You're going to see the best racers out in front, pushing each other, testing the pace. Like right now, Dan Deering coming up on the left side from Team Can-Am.
Okay, we're watching the lead pack still trying to get itself organized as it moves away from our announced position here on Soldiers Field Road at the Metro Sports Rock and Roll 95, brought to us by Metro Sports Magazine, a magazine published by Miles Jaffe. He's done a great job putting this race together today. We look at the leaders. That's Dan Deering on the left and Rolando Arrieta on the right, leading the 2 packs as we go to commercial. But stay with us on the High Adventure Inline Series.
Have you considered all the exciting opportunities available to you in television? Well, look no further than your own backyard. WCAT, Wakefield's community access television station, is offering a 6-week introductory course into the art of television production. During the class, you'll get hands-on training in the use of the equipment, and you'll meet some fascinating people behind the scenes of television programs here in town. WCAT's television production courses are 6 weeks in length. They're held on Tuesday evenings, and they will begin soon at our new studios located at 30 Converse Street in Wakefield. If you'd like more information or would like a tour of the facility, call us at 224-0300. We are WCAT, serving Wakefield on channels 3 and 16.
This man is one of tens of thousands imprisoned or tortured because of the peaceful expression of their beliefs, the color of their skin, their religion, even their sex. Since 1961, Amnesty International has worked on behalf of over 42,000 such prisoners. By putting pressure on governments worldwide, Amnesty members are giving prisoners like him not just hope, but freedom. Raise your voice. Call 1-800-55-AMNESTY.
For over 30 years, Amnesty International has worked to free prisoners of conscience, to stop torture, to prevent executions, and to protect human rights. Raise your voice. 1-800-55-AMNESTY.
You're back with the High Adventure Inline Series. Mike McCready along with Lisa Feinberg bringing you all of today's Metro Sports Rock and Roll 95 action. We're about a third of the way in today's men's elite race, and we just had Sten Seaman take over from Dan Deering, and he's immediately followed by Joe Franz. Lisa?
Seaman is always a guy to watch. He won the last race in Wampatuck State Park, and he was always a force to be reckoned with. Today, he has on a brand new pair of racing skates, so his feet are either killing him or he's feeling good.
There's Eddie Metzger making his move up on the right side, Lisa.
This is classic Eddie Metzger. He's like a kamikaze coming into the Arsenal Street Bridge where it gets very narrow. He's taking a huge gamble to pull out the lead right here.
Eddie in his familiar position, Lisa, trying to stride out ahead of the pack and open up that gap. Almost sometimes I think it demoralizes the people following him, but right behind him he's got Jason Sepulveda hanging right on his tail, even touching him as they come around the corner. I guess that's allowed in this sport, Lisa.
In inline racing, you can touch the other racers. In fact, a lot of times it happens just so you can feel the pace and stay with them, not connect skates. But you can't interfere with them in any way. You can't push them aside or connect with their skates. But Jason Sepulveda doing exactly what he said from the beginning. He said, I don't want anyone to make a break, and if they do, I'm going to be right with them.
And that is Jason Sepulveda taking over the lead as Eddie Metzger kind of stood up, taking a breath there, letting Jason pull and take some of that draft for a while. Almost looks, Lisa, like Jason's teammates behind him might even be holding the pack back a little bit.
Now, Team K2 Blades is definitely managing the pace of the pack, allowing Jason Sepulveda and Eddie Metzger to pull ahead. This is on purpose. They're hoping that it'll allow Sepulveda to stay in position for the win.
Yes, Sepulveda in the lead, followed by Metzger as we come down Greeno Boulevard. Coming up, it'll be just about a lap and a half to the finish, Lisa.
There's still quite a ways left to the finish, so this break happened very early in the race. Jason Sepulveda, though, he does have the ability to stay with Metzger if they keep trading off the lead. Sepulveda, although he was out most of last year with a broken leg, he is a very strong racer, and he's been in the top 5 every race he's entered this year.
Jason looking back at his teammates, kind of keeping an eye on Metzger as well as they come down on Greeno Boulevard. Seems like they're opening up an even wider gap from that pack, Lisa.
Well, Eddie Metzger, one of his many nicknames is Eddie Massacre because he has the ability to massacre the rest of the field. But Jason Sepulveda is having none of it today. And in fact, they are just creating their own little mini pack out in front of the rest of the crew.
Metzger taking over the lead again from Sepulveda, and we see Metzger wearing one of those nose patches popularized by the football players during the fall season. And he looks like he's kind of struggling a bit, Lisa. I'd have to say Jason Sepulveda at this point looks a little more relaxed, don't you think?
Sepulveda actually has much better technique than Eddie Metzger. Sepulveda is much lower in his tuck, and he has much better stride. You watch his feet come all the way into the underneath his body. Metzger seems to be more powerful. He's really pushing harder, but as a result, he's not as efficient.
And what's happening in the pack? It doesn't seem like they're concerned about these two big people being in the lead and opening up a wider gap.
Well, again, this is a very common thing to happen in a 10K race, but Jason Sepulveda motions back to the pack saying, hey, you guys, keep them back there. I want to stay with Metzger. This is my race.
Okay, the two leaders, Eddie Metzger in front, followed by Jason Sepulveda, and the pack behind them have just crossed over what was the start line, and they're coming up onto the Elliott Street Bridge, where we come into, after that, a high-speed section which brings them down toward where the finish area of the race is, and the bell lap is what we're coming up to.
Well, as they come over the Elliott Street Bridge, this is a very critical part of the race. It's very narrow, and that off-ramp coming off the bridge is even narrower. And that pavement, as they come down the Soldiers Field roadside, is also the roughest part of the course. So in the end, this is where strategy is key, and whoever is first off this bridge on the bell lap is the one that's going to win.
Sepulveda in the lead, Metzger right behind him. The two racers feeling each other out, getting word that it's just about a 16-second lead that they've gapped onto that other pack behind them, Lisa.
Well, 16 seconds is probably a little more than 100 yards, actually about 150 yards. They keep looking back at the pack. They keep measuring their distance. They know they've got this race well underhand if they can maintain it for one more lap.
Our leaders are coming off the Elliott Street Bridge onto Soldiers Field Road at the Metro Sport 95. We have Sepulveda looking behind, giving his eye on the pack, and Metzger has moved again into his familiar position in front. And there's a great view of our leaders. That's Eddie Metzger in front, followed by Jason Sepulveda. We need to take a break, but stay with us on the High Adventure Inline Series, because when we return, we'll be with Tom Keene for some of TK's inline tips, a racing pro from the Inline Club of Boston. And of course, we'll have more exciting race action and see how our leaders are making out on the High Adventure Inline Series. Stay with us.
Worried about the future. Plant a tree today.
They clean the air we breathe, create beauty.
They cool our cities,
shade us in the summer,
conserve energy,
help fight pollution,
and protect us from the cold winter winds.
Birds will come here when it gets bigger. Children will play under its branches.
City trees add the soft touch of nature to our busy lives.
It'll give shade, keep things cool. And all the time it's growing, it'll clear the air we breathe.
Make life livable for all.
All this from one little pine tree.
That's the miracle of trees.
Start a tradition and plant a tree for each of your children.
And make a commitment to their care.
Hey, why don't you plant a tree too? Please. Trees for America.
Plant a tree, trees for America. Plant a tree today for all the world to share.
Teresa doesn't believe in heroes.
I'm no hero or anything, but I love what I do.
She does believe in volunteering. She helps neighbors get medical care for their children.
Hi, niece. How you doing?
Ethel Lee doesn't believe in heroes.
We can't do everything for all people.
She does believe in helping babies.
Keep up the good work.
I will try.
I love you.
I love you too.
She helps mothers stop drinking during pregnancy.
We present this little plaque to you, so when you look upon your wall, you can think about us all the time, right?
If you don't believe in heroes, remember, you don't have to believe in heroes to be one. Be a hero to a child in your community. Call 1-800-6-CHILDREN.
You're back at the Metro Sports Rock and Roll 95 Men's Elite Race on a High Adventure Inline Series. Mike McCready along with Lisa Feinberg, and we're looking at our leader, Jason Sepulveda, followed by Eddie Metzger as they come down Soldiers Field Road, and behind them we see the pack. In front is Frank Cisco Ramirez, followed by Remy Chait and Jairo Ballesteros behind him, Lisa.
Right now the pack is heading towards the Arsenal Street Bridge, and the leaders of the pack itself are holding the pack back, still managing that pace, while Metzger and Sepulveda are out in front. Now, Metzger and Sepulveda, this is a very interesting story. It's East meets West. Metzger from Berkeley, California, Jason Sepulveda from Brentwood, New York, and there's the Bell Lab. Now, these two are really going to be duking it out. You have the road warrior, Metzger, who's come up through the inline skate ranks, and you've got Jason Sepulveda, who comes from the more refined quad skaters.
Now, we're going to the last lap here, Lisa, and we see Jason Sepulveda pull in front of Eddie Metzger. Seemed like as they went by the crowd, they had a surge of energy as the crowd cheered them on, and we see the pack seems like it's still trying to form into something that can catch these guys.
Well, the crowd is always good for a shot of adrenaline, and also when you hear that bell and you know there's one lap left, that means time to pick up the pace, so the combination is killer.
And there's a good view of the chase pack as it comes under our announce position here on Soldiers Field Road, and there's Jack Irving, Lisa.
Jack Irving of K2 Motion Sports often will press the lead late in a race. He's a very powerful skater, and he likes to pull his teammates up to get position, and because he's powerful, he is the best choice to try and catch the two leaders right now.
And trying to catch him he is, because that's Jason Sepulveda in the lead. And despite both having purple jerseys for K2, Jack Irving is not on the same team and not being held back. We go back to the pack, which we now hear is almost 17 seconds behind the leaders right now. Jason Sepulveda followed by Eddie Metzger.
One of the reasons they have that lead is because of Sepulveda. Notice his tuck. He's very low, very aerodynamic.
Okay, with our two leaders firmly in position, let's take a break for one of TK's inline tips.
Hi, I'm Tom Keene from the Inline Club of Boston with another of TK's racing tips. Today, we're going to talk about wheels. If we go back to '91, wheels didn't have a hub to dissipate the heat. '93 models have these nice large hubs that dissipate heat. And in '94, the additional innovation was that the wheels absorb shock. There's actually a little rubber band inside there that absorbs some of the shock. In '95, the latest models have even larger hubs to minimize the wheel weight, plus they dissipate the heat the best. The wheels are color-coded for hardness or durometer. The purple wheels are the hardest wheels. These are 83A on the durometer scale. We use them for smooth asphalt surfaces. The yellow wheels, 78A on the hardness scale, 5 notches down, we use for rougher roads, a little bit granular in the surface. They absorb the bumps better, but they're not quite as fast as the purple wheels. So if we have a smooth surface or feel our legs can handle the bumps, we choose the hard wheels, the 83As, in our races. So with a lightweight wheel that dissipates heat, you'll save seconds off your time. So this is Tom Keene with another TK's Tips, brought to you by the Inline Club of Boston. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, Tom Keene. Back with our leaders. That's Jason Sepulveda in the front, followed by Eddie Metzger as they come down that hill over the Elliott Street Bridge. Lisa.
This is exactly where Metzger wants to be. There's about 3/4 of a lap left to go. Metzger is just biding his time behind Sepulveda.
Okay, and as we come into the corner, the pack is trying to close its time a little bit. That's Ted Rowland from K2 Motion Sports up on the front. Behind him is Patrick Quinn, followed by Remy Chait. Back with our leaders, that's Eddie Metzger looking back over his shoulder, seeing the gap between the pack. Jason Sepulveda following right in behind him so smoothly as he continues to do, Lisa.
Metzger is trying to drop Sepulveda right now, but Sepulveda is having none of it. He's staying right with him.
Okay, back in the second pack, we still have Ted Rowland of K2 Motion Sports in the lead. Looks like they're trying to form a coherent draft line and catch these two speed demons, Lisa.
You know that pack is going to be pushing for it. They want to catch the pack. Each one of those guys in the head of the big pack wants to win this just as much as Metzger and Sepulveda.
Okay, right now the pack is coming down along Greeno Boulevard, and they're trying to chase down our two race leaders who have really opened up a wide gap. It's still about 14 seconds, so they've only closed about 3 seconds since about a mile and a half ago, Lisa.
Mike, it's very possible for the main pack to catch the two leaders. The world record was set on this course in 1991. It's a very fast course, but right now they're about 30 seconds off the current world record, which means there's a window of opportunity. The lead pack won't kill themselves to catch them.
Okay, in this exciting Metro Sports event, it's a 10K, which is 6.2 miles, and we've completed 5 out of the 6.2 miles with Jason Sepulveda in first place, followed by Eddie Metzger, and there's a 12-second gap with the pack closing on our leaders. So stay with us, because when we return, we'll have the conclusion of the men's elite race from Boston, Massachusetts.
The children of this nation are being held prisoner. Their playgrounds are no place to play in. Their neighborhoods are no place to grow up in. Their athletic fields are no place for sports. Their world has become a jail. Their captors are fear and violence. Your kids shouldn't have to grow up this way. Give your children back their childhood. In the fight against violent crime, you have a weapon. 1-800-WE-PREVENT. Do something now. 1-800-WE-PREVENT. Together, we will take a bite out of crime.
The youngest of us understands. Take raw materials and build something. When it's no longer needed, you can't just push it aside and build anew. You would run out of materials and space. In the larger, more complex world, we can't ceaselessly build, discard, and go back for more. We're learning. American industry now recycles about 160 billion pounds of scrap each year. Exceptional results are being achieved with some materials. For example, about half the copper needed for plumbing, air conditioners, coins, and all other consumer and industrial products now comes from reclaiming such products. But we need to do more. Design all products so recycling is practical. Encourage commercial recycling and increase demand for recycled products. If we learn from our children, we'll be able to leave them an environment they can live in.
You're back with the High Adventure Inline Series. Mike McCready along with Lisa Feinberg on Greeno Boulevard for the Metro Sports 95 and the conclusion of the men's elite race. As they come down, it's Eddie Metzger in the front, followed by Jason Sepulveda, Lisa, and we can see the pack in the background.
Jason Sepulveda might be in second place right now, but it's right where he wants to be. He wants Metzger to pull him up towards the finish line. He's in actually a better position to make the move for the final sprint.
Okay, as we're getting tight on Eddie Metzger, we can see his face is kind of showing the distance there as a gentle giant tries to pull away from second place Jason Sepulveda from Long Island, New York, who's looking pretty smooth, Lisa.
Sepulveda is just biding his time behind Metzger, and Metzger is waiting for him to pass. He even stands up out of his tuck. Sepulveda takes the lead.
Jason Sepulveda looking very smooth as we come past what was actually the original start line, moving toward the Elliott Street Bridge with the pack trying to close on our two race leaders who have been setting up blistering pace together.
Right now, they keep looking at each other, looking back at the pack, trying to figure out when to make the move, and Metzger pulls out to the side. Metzger has to be thinking, right now, coming onto that last bridge, I want to be in front.
As we go back to the chase pack, that's Sten Seaman in front, followed by Tom Keene. Looks like they're trying to make a break toward the bridge, Lisa.
Well, getting back to the leaders, Matsker is trying right now to drop Jason Sepulveda, but Sepulveda is hanging right with him. Matsker getting the two-arm swing going. He's really trying to press the pace right now, but Sepulveda just as relaxed as can be right behind Matsker.
Eddie Metzger, superstar, working it over the Elliott Street Bridge with Jason Sepulveda looking relaxed behind him. Lisa, what's going back in the pack right now?
Well, back in the pack, these guys are definitely fighting it out for third and fourth right now, and everything that comes after that. It's a very critical point as they come onto the Elliott Street Bridge. There are 30 people they have to contend with, but the lead pack, Sepulveda, coming up on the outside, trying to get around Matsker right now.
That's right, as they come down onto Soldiers Field Road, Eddie looking back, trying to shake his man, see if he'll take over some of the draft, looking to see if they make a move at the finish line.
Matsker trying to relinquish the lead. He doesn't want to stay in front any longer, and there goes Sepulveda, the big sprint. They just came off the bridge, and Sepulveda makes his move.
Metzger caught looking over his shoulder. A little bit of sleep at the helm there was just enough time for the experienced Sepulveda to make his move, and looks like he's pulled enough away from Metzger that Metzger cannot catch his draft. Surging toward the finish line, Jason Sepulveda.
Sepulveda showing classic form. This he gets from quad skating right off the track. Notice how low he is compared to Matsker. He's getting a lot more power, a lot more push, and he's cutting through the air. He's leaving Matsker in the dust right now.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Metzger has anything left, and he's looking forward, seeing Jason, and he's even conceding, saying that Jason is going to be winning the race, and we know that the pack is closing. They're down now to 8 seconds, but it may be too late for them to catch these leaders, Lisa.
And Sepulveda knows he's got it wrapped up. He even stops the two-arm swing. Matsker gives him a little applause.
Okay, looking back in our pack, we see Sten Seaman making a move on the inside with Jairo Balestros pulling behind him, battling for third and fourth place.
We've seen this before, but last time they were battling for first and second. Seaman, always fit, always a strong finisher, always has a lot left for the sprint.
And there we see Jason Sepulveda continuing to surge ahead of Eddie Metzger toward the finish line at 16:12. We see Jason Sepulveda coming across and winning the Metro Sports Rock and Roll 95 10K. His father right out there to greet him, a big supporter, travels with him to every race. We see Eddie Metzger right behind him, taking off his helmet, tipping it to the crowd as he comes in second place. Always the classy competitor. Now it's the race for third and fourth, Lisa. And we look in the background and we see there's Jairo Balestros coming in third, followed by Sten Seaman. And fifth place is Rolando Arrieta as the rest of the pack comes across the line, Lisa.
Well, Jason Sepulveda will be very pleased with this race. He finished in 16 minutes, 21 seconds, a decent pace. But not only that, he beat the king. He beat Eddie Metzger.
And as we watch the racers come into the Racers Row, we know Jason Sepulveda must be feeling pretty good right now, Lisa.
Jason Sepulveda is feeling very good. Everyone in this race is feeling very good. It was an excellent race. And with Eddie Metzger showing up, I bet you half the guys here are saying, he's my hero. It's wonderful to race with him.
Okay, let's take a look at our winners. Recapping, first place, Jason Sepulveda, the Bay Shore, New York native, crossing the line in 16:21. Eddie Metzger of Berkeley, California in second, and Jairo Balestros of Columbia, and now Weymouth, Mass in third. Stay with us. When we return, we'll be talking to the racers, and we'll have more exciting inline action.
What are you doing today?
Cleaning my glasses.
What you doing?
Cleaning my glasses.
If you don't stop your friend from driving drunk, who will?
Now what are you doing?
Do whatever it takes.
Which child deserves to be read to? This one? Or is it this one? Which child will learn to use a toothbrush? Who will have a chance to sing? The choice is yours. Volunteer for Head Start. With your help, more low-income preschool children can get what other children already have. Change the world of a child, and you change the world.
This warehouse is 5 stories tall, and it contains 45 million pounds of donated food. That's enough food to feed every hungry person in America for one day. Hunger is eating America alive. But if you can make a call, you can make a difference. Call Second Harvest, America's food bank network. Together, we're hunger's hope.
There may be something you're not seeing here, because the first sign of breast cancer isn't easy for you to spot. That's why a yearly mammogram is a must, especially if you're over 50. Doctors say the older you get, the higher the risk of breast cancer. But early detection increases your chance of successful treatment. While you may not be able to see something this small, a mammogram can. Call the American Cancer Society. Early detection is...
Back with the High Adventure Inline Series, Mike McCready along with Lisa Feinberg from the Metro Sport Rock and Roll 95. Let's meet some of today's top competitors.
It was a rolling start. We got off okay. There was a little bit of settling in and kind of feeling the course and everything. And the first thing that happened was that Eddie Metzger went on a flyer, and we knew that we could not take anybody for granted at this race. So I chased after him and I held on to him. And I guess he realized that he wouldn't be able to get away from us that easily, so he sort of eased up a little bit. And from there on, it was just basically trying to concentrate and look around and see and watch strategies from other teams and everything, and just be able to react very quickly, because, it's a fast race, and that's what we did. We hung out, we dominated the race. It was mostly all K2 skaters at the very top, at the very front, and we just basically wanted to get ourselves in a good positioning for the finish line, and we did.
The whole race was a top. It was a top race. It's a top. It was a race under 17, so it's a top race. I was trying to hold the pace until the finish line, because I consider myself as a sprinter. The only thing that the turn was by different side. We used to turn to the left, but today the whole turn was to the right, so it's kind of difficult for us. Not for everybody, but for me it's difficult. I want to thank my sponsor, Erin Frame, K2, Smith Sunglasses, and Power Bar.
Well, I'm recovered now, but I was feeling like a ton of bricks there for a while. I had heavy legs. That was a real full throttle race the whole way. We had the opening phase of the race, which was just sort of attack, counterattack, attack again, and people tired out after that. And then from then on, it was the two of us. That was the middle phase of the race. And we were trying to work together the best we could, although sometimes he'd take a pull and go by me so hard, I would just be struggling to catch back up into his draft. And then, once I caught him, he said, "Hey, you do the work now." So I was tired pretty much the whole race. I was looking at my heart rate monitor, and I was scaring myself. I was up at 194, 196. That's running pretty high, redlined. But that's the kind of race I like, And even though he had his teammates back in the pack, I hear reports that they were chasing for all they were worth. So it feels pretty good to have been able to stay away all that time. I got second place today. Can't be too displeased with that. That's on the podium, and that's what we're all there for.
In the beginning of the race, I was sitting back a little bit to see what was going to happen, see if anybody was going to try to do anything and try to get away. One of the guys took off on a break early. I didn't chase because I felt that I was going to get caught, which it did. Then he went again, and then I stayed on that break, and then we pulled from the pack. We got a gap, and then I pulled through on a lead, and I kept it strong so we can gap the pack a little more. At that time, my teammates saw that we were getting away, so they kind of slowed the pack down, got to the front, and didn't let anything catch us. So I tried to keep the pace relatively strong so no one could catch. A year ago, I had broken my leg, so I'm on kind of like a comeback season. We had like 3 or 4 races this year. I've placed in the top 5 every race, so I'm on a pretty good roll. The momentum's on my side. We usually do left-handed turns. Today it was all right, so it was kind of awkward, but we managed. It was good. I'm Jason Sepulveda, and you're watching the High Adventure Inline Series.
I don't know, I'm missing something there.
This is New Guinea.
It's so powerful.
I don't see it.
I'm having an out-of-decade experience. I was walking and came upon a fountain which bore the sign, "Don't drink the water."
Do you get
the beggar
this?
carries a
Isn't
sign
it
saying, "I'm
fantastic?"
blind." What does this poem mean to me? It's like a collage of images.
Let's face it, not every cultural activity appeals to everyone.
Finding an oasis.
So we're giving you something everyone likes, a choice. That's why 23,000 arts and humanities groups are inviting you to find something you can get excited about. Just call for a free brochure about what's going on in your community.
I think I'm getting into this.
They're tuning up.
The arts and humanities, there's something in it for you. There's a lot going on in your community. For a free brochure on how to get involved, call our toll-free number.
Your approach is looking good, Cobra.
The men and women in the National Guard and Reserve face some tough challenges when they serve. Challenges that teach them discipline, leadership, and technical skills that make them better employees. So when they need time off to serve, don't make their toughest challenge approaching you.
My hero, Isaiah Thomas, Kevin Costner, Mr. Wong.
These are teachers, but to the kids they've reached, they're heroes.
My hero, Mrs. Wooten. If I don't get through to that child, who knows, maybe no one else will.
Teachers have the power to wake up young minds, to be heroes, to make a difference. Reach for that power. Teach. Find out how by calling 1-800-45-TEACH. Be a
You're back with the High Adventure Inline Series. While here in Boston, we've been showing you some glimpses of some of the street and stunt skaters throughout the show, so we thought it would be nice to show you some of Boston's best street skaters as they do their stuff in and around the city of Boston. Y'all ready for this? Y'all ready for this? One more time. We're almost out of time, but Lisa, tell us what we're looking at for next week.
Well, next week, it's totally different. First of all, you're going to see some turns, you're going to see some downhill, and you're going to see some wicked speed through the finish. The cops are going to be there with their radar guns. We're going to New Hampshire.
All right, that's it from Boston, Massachusetts, but we'll see you again next week in New Hampshire on High Adventure TV Inline Series. Thanks for watching.
Lightning. Each year it claims about 100 lives. Lightning is predictable.